But it'll be such a failure for the Angels just for them to trade Ohtani right now. Like, you have Mike Trout, who's like the greatest player of all time. You have Ohtani. Hello everybody, welcome back to the 450 Dead Center channel. Chris here with Daniel, and we're talking about the trade deadline, because that's tomorrow. Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Yeah. No, this is going up tonight. So it's tomorrow.
Yes.
Honestly, a very quiet deadline so far, leading up to it.
Yeah, most of them usually are like that until, like an hour before the actual deadline, and then you get trades, which is great.
Do you think it's gonna pop off tomorrow? I think it's gonna go crazy, not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, we saw last year's deadline was like a really good deadline. We saw a lot of people traded like Barrios to the Jays, Rizzo to the Yankees, and all the other ones that I don't remember. But...
Baez to the Mets was another one.
Oh yeah, Baez to the Mets. Yeah,
Bryant to the Giants. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a lot of big names move last year, mainly because the Cubs were on a fire sale. But yeah, this year looks pretty good so far too, and we got some like top echelon names this year compared to last year as well.
I mean, well, you have arguably the two best players in the game.
Yeah, you have
on the block.
You have single-handedly the best left-handed hitter in baseball right now, and then you have next Babe Ruth. I don't think Ohtani is going to be traded, but like I think Soto is probably going to get dealt.
Let's start there. So you don't think Ohtani's going to be traded? Why don't you think Ohtani's going to be traded?
See, the thing is, like, I want him to get traded, and I think he's such a good fit for the Jays, and we're Jays fans, obviously. But it'll be such a failure for the Angels just for them to trade Ohtani right now. Like, you have Mike Trout, who's, like, the greatest player of all time. You have Ohtani, who is also one of the greatest players, if not the most talented player of all time. You got Anthony Rendon at third base. You have, I mean, they signed Noah Syndergaard on a one-year prove-it deal, but I mean, I think it's gone kind of well. He's also on the trade market, but with those players, granted, I know Trout's been hurt, you should be at least 500.
Well, remember at the start of the year, they were like 21-3 or so. Like there was something ridiculous, 21-8, 21-3. I don't know what it was. There was something ridiculous, and then they just fell off a cliff.
Yeah, because the Jays swept them, and they just like sucked after that.
But I agree with you. I as much as I don't want Ohtani to get traded, and I still don't, because I think if he gets traded, it'll literally be like the Angels fans will call for the GM's head.
Oh yeah,
100%. Like it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's the same with, I'm sure, Soto with the Nationals. It's the same thing. It's gonna happen. Like you trade one of those guys, you're getting your head cut off. But like, as much as I don't want Ohtani to get traded, I agree with you. Like my second favorite team besides the Jays is the Angels, because
Mike Trout, yeah,
right. And I just want to see them do well, and they haven't done anything, and it's very frustrating.
It is like the most frustrating thing, because every year, like, well, I mean, you have two MVP caliber players who are on your team, and you still finish under 500.
Everyone's like, when you do your bold predictions and you do your season predictions, everyone is like, oh, they're gonna come second or third in the West, and they'll make the wild card. That's what everyone says.
Because people want Mike Trout in the playoffs.
But like, I don't. Oh, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. It's so disappointing, and I'm so sorry, Angels fans.
I feel terrible for Angels fans, and just to make it even worse, I think if they do trade Ohtani, you also trade Mike Trout. You just get as many prospects as you possibly can, because if you trade those two guys, you're golden. Like, you can rebuild your farm system in a matter of a day, and you can have like 4 or 5 teams like top 1 to 3 if you trade those like two guys.
I agree. I think so. Building off that, the asking price right now for Ohtani, from what I've heard, is like 2 or 3 like solid MLB players. Basically like a pitcher and a hitter that can fill the Ohtani spot right now, that are young. And then like the team's like top 4 prospects.
Yeah, I mean, I expect Ohtani to demand a huge bargain, but to be fair, at the end of next year, so like if you trade for Ohtani, you'll have him for like this playoff run, and you'll have him for next year. So his market isn't going to be that high, but it's like, considering he's like one of the greatest players we've ever seen talent-wise, he's going to have a high market.
Well, moving on, like speaking of great hitter, like Soto there. First of all, he turned down what 400 million or something like that
Like
twice.
$450 million.
Yeah, like twice. So it's very clear he doesn't want to be in Washington.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised if he goes somewhere like the Dodgers or something, and he just gets like 350 million and
Yeah,
stays.
and there's a three-team race apparently right now for Soto between the Cardinals, the Padres, and the Dodgers. Which,
Yeah,
like, I mean, no surprise.
I
Cardinals,
hope
I'm a little surprised,
I
but
hope
like,
the Cardinals get him because I don't
I
want the
hope
other
the
two
Cardinals
teams.
get him. I
Yeah,
really do.
he looked good.
Although, I mean, if I had to rank it, I would want Cardinals, Padres, Dodgers. I just
Oh
don't
yeah,
want the Dodgers to
not the
get him.
Dodgers, please.
And it's the same deal. They want like two young guys, and one of them to be an outfielder to fill Soto, and then like the top four prospects again.
So basically, like Gorman or Nolan
Yeah,
Gorman's gone. I would even consider trading like
you're probably
Tyler
trading
O'Neill.
Tyler O'Neill to
Yeah,
fill him.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
O'Neill's gone, and
and
then they're
I don't
probably
know
one to
much
three
about
or
the
whatever.
yeah I don't know much about the Cardinals prospects, so probably they're 1 to 3, 1 to 4, and I think that's a lot of pitching too. Which I mean, you
Yeah,
can
they
never have
got.
enough
I
pitching.
believe they have Matthew like Liberatore. He's pretty
Yeah,
solid. I don't know the other guys because I know a lot of them did just get promoted. So like Gorman and
yeah.
those guys.
Didn't Nolan Gorman just come up too?
I think
I got something
last
like that.
year or sometime this year, but yeah, but like he was number one in their system. Now he's in the major, so it's a different number one. But still, like they're still good players.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's crazy to think about like that they're gonna get traded. Like, I mean, I think Soto's basically gone. Like, I think
Oh,
he's
there's no way.
100% gonna get
There's no
traded,
way he's staying.
which is kind of crazy to say because he's only what 22.
He's same age as Vlad, so he's 23. And I mean, it would
And,
have been nice if the Jays were in the running
yeah,
for him, but yeah.
and but he's still got like 3 years arbitration. That's why I'm so surprised the Washington trading him.
hmm Yeah, you get him for this playoff run next year and the year after, which is disgusting.
Yeah.
That's
So
also why his
but,
market
I
value is
mean,
so high.
I guess if they do want to get a lot back, like now's the time. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna
No, I
get a
get it.
ton back because they have so much control.
Exactly. They have so much control, and I mean, do you want a top two hitter in all of the league? Of course you will.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a no-brainer to trade for Soto if you want him, have the space for him, and you can trade for him.
Some other guys I've heard that are like a little bit less star power, but they're still quite stars that are gonna on the trade deadline are more than likely getting traded. Is Wilson Contreras from the Cubs?
Oh, he's gone. He like shook
So
hands with
yeah,
like
Cubs are going
Baez
full
and all
fire
that.
sale again, which I mean it is the right move.
Mm-hmm.
And JD Martinez from Boston.
Ooh, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Bogarts gets dished off as well because they have Trevor Story.
That's what I okay. So they did talk. I did read something about that, and apparently Bogarts wants to stay.
Why? It's Boston.
Like he's willing to take a pay cut. Like he just likes Boston apparently. Which
Okay,
I mean, like fair play. Like you
respectable.
don't see loyal. Yeah, you respect. Like
I mean, I wouldn't want to
but
stay in Boston, but you know what? Go ahead. Good job, Xander. You do you.
I move like for. I mean, JD can basically go to any team that needs a DH.
So basically, any
Really,
team in the league.
basically any team in the league. I doubt he's gonna go to any AL East team. He'll probably go out west.
I was feeling like, yeah, he seems like a type of guy to go to the Padres for some reason.
I'm thinking like a Padres or like a Brewers.
Braves could use him as well.
Yeah, Braves.
They just seem like the type,
Um,
like, because last year we saw them pick up all these like outfilders and they just won the World
yeah,
Series. I mean, I know Martinez is a DH, but like he can still play outfield from time to time. So,
exactly. He still hits at an elite level, which is crazy to say.
oh yeah, he's just good.
And then also I forgot he is very good, and I'm so happy when he gets out of the AL East. I'm very excited.
It's like when Judge is gonna leave
And
next year.
oh, stupid Judge. Also Gallo I heard is gonna get traded because he's
He's gonna
basically
get.
an
He's gonna have
abomination.
like no trade value though, which is
I
so
heard the
funny.
Rays are really interested in him, which I cannot believe.
If the
First
Rays
of
get
all,
Joey Gallo, he's gonna pop off. Just watch.
oh, it's gonna be the worst nightmare around baseball. It really will be.
Joey Gallo's gonna like 1,000 OPS. It'd be gross.
Yeah, and all of a sudden just put up 10 home runs in 10 games. Like,
He's gonna basically do what Judge has been doing in like all year.
yeah. And then what do I say? Oh, Nelson Cruz also is gonna get traded because like I mean he's on Washington
What was the point of him signing that 1 year for Washington? That's such a dumb deal.
just to flip him. I think
Yeah. Just to flip him,
right.
and he's not
And
even having a good season, so like it's not they're not even
he's
gonna get
really
anything.
not. And then Contreras, like we said, is gonna get traded, which I don't really know where he'd go. Like I don't really know what teams need a catcher.
I was really thinking that he's gonna go to the Astros because like Maldonado's good,
Yeah.
great defensively, but he can't hit for literal
Yeah.
crap. So I would see him on the Astros.
That's a good shout. I mean, Astros definitely is a shout. Do the Padres need a catcher, or is Alfaro kind of popping off?
I think he's solid enough. I mean, Wilson
Solid.
Contreras is like one of the best in the league, so he's pretty
Yeah.
basically an upgrade to every team besides like the Dodgers and the Jays. So that's cool.
I mean, yeah, Kirk right now. I mean,
Yeah,
you could even see him go to like a Cleveland.
I could if they really
Like,
like are trying to rebuild, but
yeah, I don't know. Cleveland's kind of. I'm just saying because Cleveland kind of needs everyone.
mhm. Yeah,
Um,
that's true. They do need everybody.
and then pitching wise, there's a lot of pitchers on the market. Like we saw Castillo got traded. We
Over
saw.
massive overpay, by
Oh,
the way. That set the
wait.
market so high this
Oh
year.
yeah, Frankie Montez is the next I think to get traded. He is way like we'll talk about him towards the end because he's a Jays obviously is rumored with them, but he is his market's gonna be high if Castillo was that high.
Yeah, like Castillo got who would he get traded to? Oh, Seattle. He got traded for their number 1, 3, and 5 prospects.
Yeah, I have the actual deal here. Give me
And
one
and you
second.
know what's crazy about that? Castillo's a free agent, I think, at the end of the year. So,
I think he's got one extra year.
okay, when I show you that makes sense. But still, that is an incredibly high market value for Castillo.
So it got traded for their four. It was four prospects the Reds got back. Their 1, 3, 5, and 10 prospect from Seattle.
That's insane. Like
Like
I would
that's a
have not,
ton.
I would nowhere near give up my number one prospect for Luis Castillo,
And
and Seattle's got a good
the
farm
number
system
one
too.
prospect was ranked number 18 in all of baseball.
Yeah, so that's basically sort of like in between the Jays 1 and 2 at the moment, between like Moreno and I think it's
Yeah.
Orelvis our number 2. So like somebody in between those two guys. Would you give that up for Luis Castillo? Like I
I
personally.
mean, at the like, I mean, I'm all for it because Seattle has the long playoff drought right now.
Hmm.
So I mean, I think they're just pushing for the playoffs, which I'm all credit for them. I would love to see them win the West. I don't know if it's possible,
I think they'll be a
but I would
wild
love.
card team. But the thing
I
is
think
though,
they'll be a
like
wild card team.
on top of that number 18 prospect,
Yeah.
they added 3, 5, and 10. Like what are you doing? That's way too much.
But you know what? Still have so many good prospects. They still
That
have
they do.
Emerson Hancock, who's ridiculous
Hmm.
out of there, and they just drafted. I forget who the guy they drafted this year, but he's apparently gonna pop off too.
Yeah, and
So they
also
still have a lot of guys. And I guess if Castillo's the guy to get them over the hump, like sure, but I just thought you could have got more. You know, like I thought you could have one paid less or two got a better guy.
Also, what's with Seattle and trading with Cincinnati? Like they got
Yeah,
Eugenio, Jesse
and Jesse
Winker.
Winker.
Yeah. Maybe they got like a
So
nice deal going on with those dudes over there, like as Cincinnati, Seattle's farm team. But also with those prospects, to be fair, they weren't their number actual 1, 3, and 5 at the start of the year because,
yeah.
Julio Rodriguez was number one in baseball, basically. There was, Kelnick, who's back in the minors because he stinks. But yeah, they have a lot of good prospects, and that 1 to 3 in this pitching rotation of Castillo, Robbie Ray, and Logan Gilbert's gonna be gross in the playoffs.
Well, don't forget about Marco Gonzalez, who's
Oh,
having
you're
a
right.
phenomenal underrated season, by the way. Like I just looked at his stats for fantasy, and he's going off for me. I think last week he just pitched like a 6 inning shutout against like the Phillies. So
Yeah,
I
he's
mean, fair
having.
play to him.
Well, that's a solid 1 to 4, and Seattle would be scary in
Yeah.
a series.
And then, well, we're gonna talk about Montez in a second, but I mean, there's a lot of relievers on the market too. David Robertson's the first one that comes to my mind.
I'll take him.
Um, and then there's also, is it Gregory Soto of the Tigers?
I'll also take him. Yeah, he's on the
Yeah,
market.
there's a bunch of guys that are Daniel Bedard or Bednard from the Rockies, but he just got re-signed, so I don't know about him.
Okay. No, he's got an extension.
Um, and yeah, there's a bunch of other guys. I'm probably missing a ton, but I mean, like, there's a lot of guys that could get traded. And I think we kind of talked earlier, like it was a big deadline last year. I think it's gonna be the same thing. Once one domino falls, everything's gonna fall.
Yeah, and the thing is, we've already seen a few dominoes fall with
Yeah.
Castillo and
Oh,
Benintendi.
yeah, Benintendi. I was gonna say, oh, there's also Amir Garrett on the Royals.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a
Who's
lot of
another.
guys on the Royals, the Tigers, all those teams basically at the bottom of like the AL and basically the bottom of the NL that they're going to be gone. There's going to be probably a few Diamondbacks players traded,
Yeah.
probably a couple more Oakland players traded if they have anybody besides Frankie Montas, maybe the catcher, Sean Murphy, I think it is.
Oh, maybe Sean Murphy. Yeah. I
But
mean,
like
I guess.
other than that, there's like yeah, I mean the Jays can go for a lot of guys here. Like I'm rooting for Montas, but like if there's somebody else sneaky that comes up, I'll take him. Like I think Jays need at least one starter. I'm gonna say 2 bullpen arms, and then yeah, give him a left-handed bench bat, like Dan
So I was
Vogelbach.
perfect segue here. Like, I was about to say, what do you think the Jays need? So you're saying a starter, two pen arms, and like a lefty bat would be ideal.
Yeah, I mean, like Otani would be fantastic. That covers two out of the three,
Oh,
but
I mean, Juan Soto would be sick too, right?
yeah,
But
exactly.
I mean, I agree. I think they do need one more starter, especially with Ryu going down.
Hmm.
So Montez would be sick. Um, there's also some less cheaper options. Jose Quintana is one guy that comes to mind who's on the Pirates right now, is having a phenomenal season.
Okay.
And he's not going to cost nearly as much. I'll pull up Quintana's stats
So that
because
kind
I
of seems
have
like
him
a
in fantasy.
Taiwan Walker-esque trade.
Yes, I think it is more like a Taiwan Walker S trade.
Mhm.
So Quintana's stats this year. Keep in mind he's on the Pirates,
Yeah, yeah.
so he's pitched 103 innings. He's got 3 wins, which is whatever.
They're on the Pirates.
Yeah, but the thing I look at, he's got a 3.4 ERA and a 1.2 WHIP.
So he's basically good to give you like 5, 6 innings every time.
Yeah, 5, 6 innings, and he's got six. I think it's 5 or 6 quality starts.
Okay, well, how old is he?
He's old. Like he's a rental. He's basically gonna give you one this year, maybe that's it.
Okay.
Let me find out his actual age for you.
If he's like upper 30s, then yeah, like don't re-sign him. But like, if
So he's
like,
33.
okay, not that old.
I'm looking at some advanced stats here. Like his FIB is 3.24, which is like
All right.
it's an average. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're trading for a guy, you're either gonna get the elite guy like not Castillo, Montez,
Mm-hmm.
or we're gonna go for a like number 5 guy.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of guys. I'm sure there's some dudes we don't even know who are on the
Yeah.
market that are going to be on the market by trade deadline day. So I'm excited.
So the reason I brought up Quintana is because I wanted to pitch this to you. They have, I can't remember who their closer is off the top of my head, but the Pirates closer is like 28, 29. I mean, Pirates are basically need to sell everyone because they're in a full rebuild right now.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking package deal, Quintana and their closer. I forget what their closer name is. That solves 2 things right there.
Lovely. And then trade for another guy like a David
Yeah,
Robertson or whatever his name is, and
David
then
Robertson.
get a bench bat. That's all we need to do.
I
Bring
I
back
think
Rowdy Tellez.
bring back Rowdy Tellez. I agree. I think that's a good place to wrap it up, Chris.
Okay. I think so as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends. Let us know in the comment section who you guys think will get traded to where on the deadline. And with that being said, see you next time. Goodbye.